Hey everybody, I thought I would give you a quick update. It's been a little while since you've seen me on the screen. That's because I did get sick right before New Year. And well, I found out today apparently it's COVID, so that's fun. I've managed to dodge it since 2019. I've never had it, but my partner and I both have it, so we of course are quarantining at home now. Yeah, so that's fun, bringing in the New Year in style. That's one of the reasons why you haven't seen a lot of me. I haven't really had the kind of traditional COVID stuff going on, like the traditional symptoms that you hear about, like with fever and things. It's really been more like a cold. So I was very surprised, honestly, that it was COVID. And in fact, the only reason why we checked it was as out of, an abundance of caution, because we're maybe going to have a friend over to watch Drag Race tonight, and we just want to make sure, and I'm glad we did, because that would not have been fun. Reading update, I did finish The Lord of the Rings. I loved it. I do want to still make a video about Return of the King. The farther away we get from it, the less important it seems or relevant, but I still want to do it and kind of give my thoughts about that reread. I think I'm going to start on the movies soon. Being sick, I may as well. We actually have some really bad weather coming through. We don't usually get bad snowstorms where I live. We just haven't the last few years. But we are going to get one, apparently. So, yeah, I think we're probably, between that and COVID, we're literally just going to be staying indoors. So I think watching The Lord of the Rings sounds really great right now. Speaking of which, I did watch The Rings of Power. I rewatched season 1, and then I watched all of season 2. And in fact, I binged the last 4 episodes all in one night. I was a huge fan of season 1, huge fan of season 2. I tried to go back and look at the reasons why people didn't like season 1, and I still don't get it. I even kind of rewatched season 1 with sort of a very critical eye, because I thought, I kind of want to see if there's just some story stuff here. I don't get it. I honestly don't. Other than that, the pace is, maybe a little slower, but I'm, maybe used to just slow paced things. I like a slow build as long as it's keeping me interested. And I think Rings of Power did that in spades. I love all the characters that they introduced. I love the look of it, the scope of it. So yeah, that's been a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that. I'm so happy we're getting season 3. I really hope they can finish out the 5 seasons. One thing I will just say, having grown up in the 90s when there was this sort of resurgence of sort of syndicated fantasy, of which Xena is a beautiful example. I still love. I go and rewatch those episodes, and yes, some of the stuff is dated, but some of it's still just so fun and clever. But anyway, beyond that, it was pretty slim pickings as far as what we had for fantasy series. So to have a series as lush and lavish and well acted and beautifully produced as The Rings of Power, I guess maybe part of me just can't imagine not just being overjoyed about that. Even if there's some stuff that I think works better than others. I mean, certainly I'm not uncritical of everything. But actually, I think it's season 2 that they did some good fine tuning and kind of found their legs even more. But to me, it kind of feels just like the development of a story, from something that's a little lighter and a little slower paced and taking its time to introduce this world, to something that's really ramping stuff up as the story progresses. So, I don't know. I really liked Rings of Power. I'm excited to move on to the Lord of the Rings movies, but I do want to watch the Hobbit movies too this winter. So I'm trying to decide if I should go back to them first and watch Lord of the Rings. Anyway, they'll get watched. I'm excited. I'm immersed in my Lord of the Rings world still. Even with the new year, I think partly being sick, it's almost like I'm denying it's the new year. One thing I have been doing, and I've been posting on Blue Sky about this, is I have been doing the cover for the first novella for Dark Tide Racers. That's still a little ways off. I've got to go back to those stories, I should say, and really refine them. There's more I want to do with them to make them standalone novellas, essentially, that I'm going to be releasing in some pattern in 2025. But I really wanted to get the cover down, partly as a marketing tool, to have the cover so I can start talking about Dark Tide Racers in more concrete ways and getting people used to the fantasy series, but also just because it seemed like a fun thing to do. And drawing is something that I usually can do when I'm sick. Reading, writing, those things are harder. So I haven't started on my reading list. I'm pretty bummed about that because I really want to get to it. But I have taken the opportunity to start Star Trek Resurgence, which is the Star Trek video game that I posted the little clip from Spock about, and that was fun. I also did create a character in Dragon Age Veilguard. I actually got that game for my partner for Christmas, but I, of course, was interested in playing it too, and I made a character, and that was fun. Yeah, so that has been kind of the reading and the writing. Not that there's been much of either. I have been doing some writing in the project, which I've talked about elsewhere, and I talked a little bit about here, is the male romance slash spy thriller. It's going to be called Every Devil You Know, and I will be talking about this much more over the year. I have been wanting to write this spy novel, Every Devil You Know. Actually, it started out as a comic book pitch for Vault Comics when I was talking to them for a little while. That didn't really go anywhere, but I really loved the idea of it. And I can't make it happen as a comic book very easily anytime soon. And the more I thought about it, I was like, oh, this would really work, I think, as a novel, but it was missing something. And then I read the first two books by Steve Travis Rice in the Sapphire Cove series. And that really kind of opened my eyes to what male romance could do, like the level of writing and the level of character. And it really made me want to take a crack at it. So that's what I've done. And that's what I've been doing for most of the last half of the year. There's going to be a Fade to Black edition right now, at least that's what I'm planning. And then I'll do a full everything in the kitchen sink sort of edition, full spice, because I am wanting to do some fun and interesting things with that format as well. So I'll talk about it more, but I'm really excited to where it's going. I'm trying to make it equal parts spy thriller and male romance so that both of those things are satisfied. So it's not just a male romance with some, spy thriller trappings. I want it to be actually a good, meaty spy thriller tale as well as a male romance. And we'll see. I haven't finished it, but I am liking it so far. So that will be a big thing that's coming up as well. I don't know if that will get published this year. I'm hoping it will. I think it may towards the end of the year. So theoretically, Dark Tide Racers will start hopefully in the spring, maybe the summer, with the first 3 stories launching in pretty quick succession. And I plan to keep working on future stories as those go to kind of get like a cadence of releases that's pretty regular. And then towards the end of the year, I hope to release Every Devil You Know, this male romance spy thriller. So I have a lot going on, but I will see you very soon. I miss you all. I hope to catch up on some of the videos that I've missed, and I'll talk to you very soon.